Hey, how's it going, everyone? Been a while since I tuned in and made a video. Haven't really felt the need. Been working on my band's demo and doing other stuff, but I figured it's probably time to get back to making videos because it's fun to do and it's fun to talk about bands like this. Deeds of Flesh is, anybody who knows anything about fucking anything knows what's up with these guys. So I'm just gonna put it out there that to me, Deeds of Flesh is the ultimate brutal death metal band, and I'll give you reasons why. I'm gonna run through their discography real quick, but yeah, if I had to pick one band to take home the crown, it's Deeds of Flesh. And there's a lot of good reasons why I think so. And I don't think any of the bigger dogs can even hold a candle to them. So without further ado, let's start looking at some of the discography. So first thing comes out with Deeds of Flesh, 1995. This is a Grail EP. This is one of the best EPs ever, as you probably already know. Gradually Melted. This is the original cassette Wild Rags tape version. No bootlegs here. Love having the tape. So that came out in 95. And then I also got a CD copy, which is supposedly, this is from a year later, 96, according to Discogs, but I don't know, man. They're changing that all the time. So this is basically, for me, the style of death metal I wanted to hear after Effigy of the Forgotten. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. So many years ago, when I heard Human Waste and Effigy of the Forgotten, that's like the peak of everything in BDM to me. So when I heard Breeding the Spawn, I love Breeding the Spawn. Like, don't get it twisted. I love Breeding the Spawn, and I think Pierce from Within is a great album. But Frank Mullen's vocals aren't as low on those, and the production isn't as sick as on Effigy or Human Waste. Human Waste has got that real raw energy, and Effigy of the Forgotten has that slice and that punch. It's piercing. It's got that slap, whereas Breeding the Spawn, I don't think the production's bad on it like a lot of people do. I enjoy the rawer take, but it's not as punchy. And then same goes for Pierce. It's a very punchy album, very well produced, but it's almost too clean for me, and it's too bass heavy, and I know a lot of people are gonna disagree because that's a fan favorite. But for me, with Suffo, the definitive stuff has always been Human Waste and Effigy for my ears. And Deeds of Flesh, these guys, they don't sound anything like Suffo necessarily. If you're truly into brutal death metal and you've been listening to it for years, these guys don't sound like Suffo. They have their own thing going on, but they have enough of the influence to where it's like, yeah, Eric's vocals, they're inspired by Mullen, clearly. Like a lot of people, people talk about, other things being more influential than Effigy on brutal death. And I've never seen that because I'm like, what do most of the bands like? What clicks in your mind first? It's the sound from Effigy most of the time, and especially with the vocals in brutal death metal. So yeah, this has some of that suffocation energy, but it's totally different and it's way more crazy. And this is what I wanted to hear. So I've always thought, like after Effigy, it's like, this is, if I want that energy and that aggressiveness and that feeling that Effigy gave me when I first heard it, I'm going to Deeds after, and Deeds brings a whole new level to death metal and consistency. So I should get moving on because I've been talking about this too long. And Gradually Melted, this fucking EP is incredible. Like the songs on it, everything on it, 3 minute crawl space, like I mean, all of the songs, you know, they're incredible. Perfect EP. And this can rival any album, any full length. You know, this is definitive shit right here. So yeah, got Gradually Melted there. Amazing stuff, you know, and I'd assume most people watching this have heard this, but if you haven't, dude, this is absolute S class death metal. Like that, it, in my opinion, death metal does not get an ounce better than this. This is at its greatest right here. So that's Gradually Melted. Now, the debut for Deeds of Flesh, and holy fuck, what a debut, right? Trading Pieces is, you know, there's some death metal albums that like just transcend the definition of darkness, and I think the guys on Trading Pieces did that. And something I love about Deeds of Flesh is anybody who knows me personally knows that I'm not a huge fan of the I guess you call it homeboy elements in death metal. I like death metal pure. I like it to be dark, you know, whatever. If you think it's cliche, whatever. I like death metal to be about what it's about, and I like the aesthetics to fit it, everything, you know. So, I love Trading Pieces. Like I think this album, I think this smokes like I don't want to say it, but I'm gonna say it. It smokes like the early Cannibal stuff, even to me, and it smokes a lot of brutal death metal too. Like, because a lot of this stuff in this era, to me, you know, it was getting pretty slammy and stuff, and it started to get slammier right after this. And I like some of that stuff, like Molesting the Decapitated, for example. That's one of my favorite records ever. But there's something I admire about this style a little bit more, and same with like a band like Brodequin too. I like when they keep the speed up and the slow parts are few and far between. I think that's my go-to overall as a style. But yeah, this album is just sick, and how it starts out with that stabbing, and it's a very dark album. Like this is a album that just doesn't fuck around. Like and the production to it is just so, it's such a heavy and washed out, drowned production, and it's such a punchy production at the same time. So you're getting all these elements mixed in, and it's just like it's one of those albums you couldn't recreate, no matter how talented a group of artists is, because the sound is so unique and it's so well done. And this album accomplishes everything you want in a death metal album. And like the only death metal album like that for me that really vibes the atmosphere of the darkness to this is like Mortal Decay's Forensic or something. Like these albums are both really fucking dark, you know, and they're not dark in a humorous way either. It's just darkness and nothing else, you know. And this album's just fucking heavy, dude. Like this is true heaviness to me. It's not always about like, I mean, in death metal to me, it's not always about how fast you play and how many blasts you have. It's like this. Like the songwriting is really good. It's really memorable, and it's true heaviness. They're not just doing it for the sake of being heavy. They're just naturally heavy. It goes with their style and what they're doing. So this shit this is a goat in my opinion. Trading Pieces, it doesn't get much better than that. That's the OG 96 press on Repulse Records. And then that has the original mix. So it sounds very different from this because this is a remaster. And the remaster, this is on Horror, Pain, Gore, Death. And this is using the Unique Leader remaster, not the Repulse one. The production on both of these sounds so different. I'm not sure which one I'm partial to. They're both really cool, which is why I kept both. So, yeah, they're both worth owning. And I also got the Osmos LP, you know. I can't get enough of this album. That's why I got the flag back there too. This album is just, I mean, it's a perfect death metal album, and I think if you disagree, you're kind of wrong. I mean, anyway, moving on. So, what's next? Well, what's next is another, back-to-back victory, because we got Inbreeding the Anthropophagy, and this album is sadistic, man. This is an insane album, and I could see why this would be like the go-to definitive Deeds of Flesh record. These guys were on their A game when they played on here. And the songs, dude, I mean, the songs on this album, the title track of this album, in my opinion, is like one of the it's in the top 10 death metal songs of all time, in my opinion, like all motherfucking time. It's incredible, and Maddie Way's vocals guesting, just like how Eric did on She Lay Gutted for Disgorge. Dude, like just look at my reaction. Like, you can't fucking comprehend the greatness. Like, this is just fucking pure death metal greatness. Like, this is fucking death metal this is how it's supposed to be. I'm not gonna name names of any new bands or anything anybody's into these days, but come on, dude, this is how you fucking do it. That's how you do it. Everything about the album, the production, the vocals, the instrumentation, the songwriting, the layering, dude, the drums, everything. This is fucking death metal, man. I love this album. Great album cover too. This is the original Repulse pressing too. I'm sure I'm forgetting to say a bunch of stuff. I'm not used to being in front of the camera after all that time. I got an LP too. This is a really nice issue on Coyote Records from Russia. He did a good job on the scan for this, because it doesn't look blurry at all, and the colors are really sick. It's on green. Not that you can see it or anything. So that's a cool pressing to get. I got that on Hell's Headbangers, but I'm sure it's on like Bandcamp and Coyote Records if you're in Europe, but I wasn't gonna get it from them since I'm in the US. And then this is the Osmos issue. Got this on Red. It's just such a good album. Why not get two records? I'm not the type of person that normally collects two copies of stuff, but I love Deeds of Flesh, and I kind of think that they're the goats, and I don't think any brutal death band is as good as them, like like I said, even like the Suffos, the Cryptopsies, everyone else, it's like not even that, not even the more, I don't want to say accessible, but the more well-known stuff, I don't even think that comes close to the Deeds of Flesh. And Deeds of Flesh is, they're kind of up there with well-known, almost. They're not quite on that level of those bands, but in terms of their music, I think it's way better. But anyway, let's move forward. Next, this is the album that got me into Deeds, and this is a very amazing album. Deeds of Flesh, Path of the Weakening. On this album, Eric's highs, like his high vocals, aren't as crazy as the first three releases, but they're really good still, and Eric sounds really good, and they're just locked in on this album. This album has a lot of insane arrangements and movements. It's a very technical album, but not in the bullshit wanky type of way. It's just like straight up like brutally technical, and awesome. Just an awesome record. And like Lustmord, all these songs are really sick. So there's the guys right there. Yeah, they got a little homeboy look going on this album, but who fucking cares? Like, This is just sick. And the title track, I mean, Deeds of Flesh has always had strong title tracks because they're always like some of their best songs. And that's the original jewel case pressing from 2000 on Unique Leader. They had a digipack in 1999. I wanted the jewel case though. So next, we have this album, which is I don't like this as much as the prior work, but it's like really close. It's really close. And this kind of shows the band going in a different direction lyrically. And that is a signature from Mike Hamilton. He drummed on this album. I got it signed for I got it signed when I went to see Exhumed on the Decayed Decades tour, which was a sick tour, which I'd love to get into on another video. But yeah, Mike was awesome. He signed the inside of the booklet too. You won't see it though. Little Eric there, awesome dude. You know, Eric's one of the guys that has taught me the most about guitar playing, and like that dude motivated me so much in my own band and my own project. And so yeah, this is sick. Mark the Legion is a great album. This is a heavy album filled with bloodlust, and it's a bloody good time, like quite literally. Great brutal death metal, you know. They're in the 2000s at this point, and still staying really strong. And then this is another one that's like I see a lot of people's favorites, but it's probably my least favorite actually out of the ones I showed you so far, and that's Deeds of Flesh Reduced to Ashes. This is a really good ass album, and you got the boys back there. It's a good ass album. It gets a little too clean for me, but not like it's nothing like ridiculously noticeable. It's a really good album. It just doesn't have the darkness of the prior stuff, and this is definitely their most like objectively impressive, I guess you could say. Like musically and production wise, this is like kind of their magnum opus. Just from an objective standpoint, but yeah, it's really killer. And this has one of the first riffs I learned to play because I Reduced to Ashes, again a title track. Reduced to Ashes was one of the first Deed songs I learned on guitar, along with like Gradually Melted. So yeah, that's pretty cool. It's a good album. Pretty hard to find this on the original Unique Leader records too, so that's cool to have. Now, unfortunately, I don't have Crown of Souls. I would show that if I could. Crown of Souls, it's another tier lower for me than than the other stuff I was shown, but I don't own it yet. I will eventually, but I like that album too. And after that, I don't really like the other stuff because it just totally changes the sound of the band. But I do like Crown of Souls, and I think it's good. And Nucleus has its moments, even though, you know, there's no Eric on it except for the guitar. There's some cool moments, but it's just not the same. But yeah, I like that. And then the last thing I'll show is just real quick, like the DVD, the live DVD. This is one of my favorite live shows ever because obviously I was too young to see them back when they were doing this. So it's cool to go back and see one of your favorite bands that you can't see with this lineup anymore, you know, in their prime. So it's a cool DVD. Anyway, I just think Deeds of Flesh embodies the truest form of brutal death metal. I know it sounds a little snobby, but I think the no bullshit approach, and they're still playing very impressive stuff, but it's not goofy, you know, it's just pure brutal death metal, and I think they honor the bands that came before them. They know their history, they knew all that, and they just elevated the genre to new heights, and they stayed super consistent, and they're a super talented group. And there's other brutal death metal bands that I like almost as much, and they're really unique and they stand out. But and if we're just talking consistency and like somebody's asking you like, what's a prime example of brutal death metal? It's like this is the band I would show them. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. This went on way too long, honestly, like way longer than I initially planned. But I hope you enjoy it. Feel free to just skip through a lot of the talking because I just yap too much. But yeah, until next time, keep bumping Deeds of Flesh because it's fucking great. It's fucking heavy, and it never won't be, and nothing will take them off their pedestal. So yeah, peace.